Time to go, John.
I hope he knows I really mean it.
For me?
It's a Hallmark.
Wow.
Everyone needs to feel loved at Christmas. Give a Hallmark card and share your love.
John, you know what Christmas is all about.
Hey, what a card can say for you.
This is a Christmas gift I'll keep forever.
Hey, what a Hallmark card can do.
Okay. Do all of you guys remember that Christmas song, Up on the Housetop? The one that was burnt into your brains as a kid? Constantly chanted as a harmless Christmas carol? Up on the housetop, reindeer paws, out jumps good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys, all for the little ones, Christmas joys. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Up on the housetop, click, 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 down through the chimney with good Saint Nick. It's not that harmless. When I was a kid, I was told by a number of my friends that they found Santa Claus to be a bit creepy or even frightening. But I'd always thought otherwise. That is, until I found out that, well, spoiler alert, there never was a Santa Claus. But if Saint Nick never existed, then why did our parents tell us about him in the first place? Were they preparing us for a heartbreak with such a lie? Or were they just telling us another lie? Possibly to protect us? I came up with such a theory when I had a terrible experience myself. On the Christmas Eve of 2006, I had just turned 9. I was so excited for morning the next day that I couldn't sleep. I already found out earlier that your Santa Claus was a hoax, but that didn't diminish my rabid love for the holiday itself. I was laying in my bed, staring up into a pitch blackness on my bedroom. Usually I slept with the door open because I was scared of both the darkness and separation. This night, though, was different. My mother had to close the door because she didn't want me sneaking to peek at the presents she had gotten for my older sister and me. So I accepted the darkness just for once. My mind was too distracted by the thoughts of tomorrow to think about what could be lurking in the pitch black that engulfed my room. I was concentrating on my mother's conversations with my grandpa, hoping to hear something about what they got me. At the age of 9, eavesdropping was my expertise, but the sound of gift wrapping and tearing of tape drowned out their voices. That and another faint sound. It was familiar. I focused on that sound for a while, trying to figure out what it was, although almost it was undecipherable. It was a song. When I finally made it out what it was a song I knew very well. Wouldn't that comfort me for a moment? Up on the housetop, click, 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 down through the chimney with good Saint Nick. I soon started to hum along, but then I realized something off-putting. Maybe it was my imagination or possibly the sound being thrown across the house. Or our house does that often, but it sounded like for whatever reason this faint music was coming from the inside of my room. Starting to get scared as I usually did when forced into the darkness, I turned on the lamp on my nightstand and relaxed to find that nothing was there, aside from my dresser and a pile of clean laundry that I had forgotten to put away. The music also abruptly stopped as I did this. Suddenly, I heard another sound. It was a knocking sound coming from above me, but more like footsteps. I realized as if a bunch of animals were walking around on my roof of my house. Reindeer? I was shocked. I thought Santa didn't exist, yet here it was. The telltale first sign of his arrival, reindeer on your roof. I heard the music start up again. However, this time it was at a slightly louder magnitude. I could hear the words now sung by an unknown chorus of children. Again, though it was coming from the inside of my room. By now, I was intensely confused and equally as frightened. Where is this sound coming from, and why are the reindeer on my roof? Am I alone right now? Does my mom and grandma hear this? Countless questions flooded my thoughts as I heard the thumping from above me and the music surrounding me. They both stopped abruptly. I listened, tense to see what was happening. I was frozen and now clutching the Bible that I kept under my pillow to ward off bad dreams. It was a common exercise that most of my family practiced, as we were all raised to be fiercely religious. But the Bible did not help me as I looked in horror at a new sound coming from inside my room, directed inside my closet. I heard my clothes on the hanger start to rustle, and then the doorknob jiggle. I was frozen in fear, and none of my body could move, no matter how much my mind screamed, escape, escape. Whatever it is, get away from it. The doorknob turned slowly. The door gradually opened. The door slowly opened, all the way, creaking intimidatingly. I looked into the darkness that was my closet, and the only emotion I felt at that moment was pure terror. I saw white eyes stare back at me. They didn't glow. There was nothing especially terrifying about them, despite the fact that someone was inside my closet, and the music started to play again, paralyzing me even more. If that was even possible, it was very loud now. I heard the chorus of children singing the song again, yet they sounded different, shaky, maybe even frightened. They did feel the same way I did. I saw whoever was in my closet emerge from the darkness into the light of my lamp, and I felt the tears wetting my face, my throat burning. I felt like I could scream. I wanted to scream. I needed to scream, but he did not allow me to. I don't know how. His silent stare just told me not to. It was Santa Claus. But his face was not sweet and cuddly or caring as depicted in many pictures and movies about him. He looked at me with a grim look as if he was extremely upset at me, but that was an understatement. His overly disdainful stare was what was making me cry. Not him being inside my room, the music now sounded like it was melting away, fading into the background. It got quieter and quieter until we both were staring at each other in complete silence. Down through the chimney with good Saint Nick, he said behind gritted teeth, his voice low and hateful. What? I choked out in reply. I didn't understand why he was telling me the lyrics to his song. You, he uttered. Suddenly, he lunged for me, but I jumped back in surprise. I nearly fell off the other side of my bed, realizing the ability to move again. I sprinted toward the door and threw it open, nearly breaking it down. Santa moved quickly, grabbing a hold of my shoulder of my pajama shirt, and I pushed the opposite way with all the force I possibly could in a desperate effort to make him let me go. Thankfully, he did, and I ran down the hallway. Mom! I screamed, my voice finally coming back. She whipped around in confusion, sitting on the couch with a half-taped present. I jumped over the couch and hid behind it. Usually I would never even attempt to jump the couch as I was terribly unathletic, but in this situation, it was the best idea possible. She stood up and looked both of fear and fury washing over her. Grandma sat on the floor next to the Christmas tree in shock. Mom immediately started toward my bedroom, and Santa stood motionless in the hallway, that look of disdain on his face. He never moved until my mom charged at him with all of her force. She locked her hands around Santa's throat, gripping it with so much force that it seemed impossible. She must have been powered by adrenaline and motherly instinct to protect us. However, Santa just stood there until after a while Santa fell to the ground within a matter of seconds, and it was only then that my mom let go and began kicking him into the stomach repeatedly as she screamed, "Don't ever touch my kids again." All the while, that song was playing so loud it rang throughout the entire house. He soon then began to sing along as he coughed up blood, and his evil expression never changed no matter how equally evil my mother was to him. Her sudden power and strength was ridiculous and somewhat amusing, yet he remained unchanged, singing along with hate until passing out. My sister opened her bedroom door to find my mom still beating Santa senselessly, which must have frightened her as much as did me. My grandma called 911 and was describing an apparent break-in in our address. Soon the police came, and long after Mom had determined that he wasn't waking up anytime soon, the music had stopped. And just before the sound of the police sirens came, we heard the sound of footsteps on the roof again. Later, the police determined that he was just some crazy old guy who sneaked into our house earlier and had been hanging out in my closet for a while. They came to terms that he was delusional. Either he thought he was actually Santa, or that Santa was just a Scooby-Doo SQ costume that covered up his identity. However, that still does not explain the footsteps on my roof and that song. And to this day, I don't think I'll ever know what really happened that night. But Christmas has never been the same for us. And I will never, ever sing that song again.